Hello crafters, teachers, and moms. If you need to help your kids to make a Italy map for a school project or just for fun, you've landed in the perfect spot. We're about to dive into this surprisingly simple way to bring Italy to life right in your craft room. We'll explore some fantastic ideas that will make this project a breeze, turning what could be a daunting task into a delightful adventure. Get ready to discover how easy it can be to craft a memorable Italian masterpiece together. We're so glad you're here to create with me. All supplies you will find links on the description of this video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. But before we start, I'd be absolutely thrilled if you'd hit that subscribe button. Trust me, there's so much more fun and excitement heading your way, and you won't want to miss a single bit of it. I've found that when it comes to bringing mixed media art to life, the foundation really matters. That's why I'm working with a 24 by 18-inch canvas. It is a perfect base for building up layers with clay, paint, and resin. I am starting just outlining the map, separating the ocean and the land. Don't forget the islands too. Take your time with this step, since it's very important to look like the original map. This map I am making for my son. He is part of his school Latin club, but even though I am making for him, I always tell them to stay with me and help and learn the process, so don't be spooked if you see extra pair of hands. We're going to start drawing the shape. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but I can't draw. And honestly, I'm right there with you. I've always felt the same way. But that's exactly why I want to share this with you. You can see I have a printed version of the map next to me and tons of images of Italy maps to help. You know, I'm going to be always completely honest with you in my channel. I'm not really great at drawing, but it is a crucial part. If you're looking at your map out Kibne and if it's not quite right, please fix it now. It might feel like it's taking extra time in the moment, but trust me, it is so much better to invest that effort up front. You'll avoid that sinking feeling of looking back later and wishing you'd made the changes when you had the chance. That regret can be a heavy burden, and it's entirely preventable. As always, here's the part that you say hi to Misty again. I can promise you this kitty cat knows all my craft secrets, so leave a little love for us in the comments. When you are happy with your outlines, it is time to start the step 2. Soft clay. It's so forgiving, so adaptable. It allows me to sculpt and shape, to create those subtle undulations and contours that make a landscape feel truly real. This isn't just about filling space, it's about building the land shape. Keep your maps around, always checking. I am using a glue stick to prepare the canvas for the clay. Why glue stick? Just because it gives me a stick surface without saturation the canvas. Clay will stick in the canvas without glue, but I prefer to be safe than sorry. Remember, every step is important for the final result. With green clay, I will start covering the whole land. Since I am not using any frame for this project, I decided to add the clay on the sides to keep the land effect, and when the map is on display, will be much prettier. I will speed up now, so you don't need to stop for a snack soon. I just want to say, take your time and build the shape and edge details for your land now. So, if you see some places on your map that have high elevation, build your layers now. It's much easier to change when you just have one color of the clay. With the entire foundation of our land laid out in green clay, it's time to bring in the finer touches. Next step is adding the islands. It's like the map is finally coming together, and I can really start to visualize where everything belongs. Seeing the whole base allows me to draw these islands with so much more confidence and accuracy. When I am working on a school project that captures Italy's geography, paying attention to the details of its elevations is key. The beige clay is perfect for this because it offers a natural, earthy tone that closely resembles the actual colors of many Italian mountain ranges. Using beige clay allows us to sculpt these features with a sense of realism that will make your project stand out. As you working, remember to consider the relative heights and shapes of these mountain systems. A little research into elevation maps of Italy will go a long way. You don't need to be a cartographer, but understanding the general scale will help you create a more accurate and impressive representation. Gently press the top of the clay together to create the top of the hills. This step is all about bringing that three-dimensional character to your project, making it not just a flat representation, but a miniature landscape. Once you're happy with the sculpted forms of your mountains, the next step is patience. If you can, let your clay dry overnight. This allows the material to set and be ready for step 3. Step 3. Chalk pastel. While you can certainly use dark brown clay to build up your mountains, I personally find chalk pastels to be a better option. It allows us to add that captivating 3D effect without altering the original form or making the mountains feel bulky. It's a subtle yet powerful way to bring your miniature landscapes to life. I like to grind the chalk. It's much easier to shade delicate details with the powder than the whole chalk. Use a brush to make every place you would see shade in dark brown. Just look at the difference already. It's incredible how few shades of brown chalk can add so much depth and dimension. This technique really helps to make those hills pop, to give those valleys a sense of mystery, and to guide the viewer's eye exactly where you want it to go. It's a simple approach, but the impact is big. Now we will do the same thing to the green, adding light and shade with light green, dark green, white, and even a little dark brown chalk. Remember, when you're working on your landscapes, it's so helpful to give your map a little spin. Make sure you're checking both sides of those mountains, seeing them from different angles to check shading and depth. I've found that adding a touch of darker brown can make a world of difference, really giving your shading that extra dimension. Keep playing with your colors, blending and layering until you're happy and ready to move on to the next step. Step 5. Paint the ocean. For the ocean, I use 2 shades of blue, dark and light. First, cover the whole ocean with light blue. You don't need to wait to dry to start adding the dark blue where the ocean is deeper. It's better to do this step when the paint's still wet. That makes the mix smooth and the effect prettier. My son asked me to add some whales swimming around to show how big and deep the ocean is. So voila! With a liner brush, I am using dark blue for the whales and little lines to mark movement on the ocean following the map outline details. Now that we added the details on the ocean, let's work on the forest. Again, look at the real map to see where the vegetation is, and places that you need to add some green for forests, use glue to make sure they will stay in place. Look your map and check if you need to add a detail here or there. For this project, one of the rules was adding all the important cities, so I decided to add pins to mark them. This again is a step that you need to check your real printed map to know where each city is located. After adding all the pins I needed representing the cities, I turned around the canvas and added an earring back pin to protect anyone that is moving the map around to get hurt and to keep the pin in place. Reminder, all supplies you need to make this map I will list on the description of the video. Step 7. Resin. I know that resin can seem scary and difficult, but the results that give you is worth to try. It is not hard at all. Here are the tips. 1. Measure or weight equal parts for part A and part B. 2. Mix slow. You don't want to add bubbles. 3. Make extra. You don't have enough. 4. Mix mica powder to add color. If you don't have, add a bit of acrylic paint. I am adding a little bit of blue powder. 5. Mix well and add powder slowly since once it's too dark, you can't make it ligther. 6. You can also add glitter for some shine. I like to read in the middle of the ocean and use a wood or silicone from brand to guide the resin closer to cover only the places I want to warm up. Resin
After
glides
that, you
really
are ready
easy,
to
so
start
you can set
pouring.
them in every outline of your map. We are almost done. After I covered the whole ocean with resin, I mixed a small amount and added blue glitter. You ask me why? Just because it's pretty. Now let the resin dry completely before moving your map. Always use resin in a place with lots of airflow. The smell is a little strong. Thank you so much for sticking with me through the entire video. I truly appreciate you taking the time to watch. If you're feeling inspired to create something yourself and have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to drop them in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to find me again until the next one.